How do everyone, and welcome back to Royville, in 4 color. My name is Stefan, and these are my polls for the week. This is where I talk about the books I picked up, in brief, to tell you if I liked them or not, if they're a good recommend. So without further ado, let's get into the first issue. And it is Ultimate Spider-Man #2. Nice little cover with a green goblin, shall we say? All right, this one is written by Jonathan Hickman, and the colors are Marco Cicchetto? Yeah, sorry about that. Anyway, I really like this issue. I'm really liking this series. In this one, Peter Parker is coming to terms with getting the spider serum or being bit by a spider. I guess the serum would be more Captain America's thing, but getting bit by a spider in his 30s. He's married to Mary Jane, has a couple kids, and he's trying to figure out this whole Spider-Man thing. He's a little bit behind the times and is trying to get caught up. He's practicing his powers and realizing that it's good to have them, but he needs work. I did like the way he described them. Very scientific, very analytical, because he's been a scientist for most of his life now. And there's a cool scene with his first foray into trying to get a bad guy. Here he's fighting the Shocker. And it's just a really cool scene with Peter getting duped. Not once, but twice. A lot of fun. Someone also finds out his secret identity, that he's actually the person dressed like the Spider Person. Not going to tell you who. You'll have to read it for that. Lastly, we find out that Wilson Fisk, who now owns the Daily Bugle, is actually taking orders from someone else. Interesting. He's not the biggest man on, no pun intended, he's not the biggest man on the totem pole, which makes you wonder who is. And in the very last scene, one of these characters is revealed, but not much more about it. But I highly recommend this series, the new Ultimate Spider-Man. The next one is actually an independent comic I started picking up called Unnatural Order. This is issue #3, and and since it's an independent, it's written by Vault, or produced by Vault. And it is written by Christopher Yost, and the pencils are Val Rodriguez. And I think everything fits here. It's a really good story, really good read. In this character Murphy is sent back in time, or maybe as we find out, maybe not back in time. I don't really want to give too much away. This is kind of a fantasy story with science fiction elements. A lot of the story does deal with the Hadron Collider. I'm not sure if it's exactly in the place that it is in the real world, but kind of a weird idea of what could happen if something crazy happens with the collider. And I really dig it. You come to find out that a lot of people are playing Renaissance Festival characters. It sounds really weird, but I strongly recommend this series. It's really fun. It makes you think, and honestly, I think it would be an interesting idea for a tabletop role-playing game. Anyway, that's Unnatural Order. Very strong recommend on this one. All right, the next book I have for you is the last part of Joker Year 1. This is Batman 144. All kind of a good cover, a nice cover here. Looks like Gordon, not Commissioner at this point, is in a fun house with the Joker. This one is written by Chip Zdarsky, and the pencils are by Giuseppe Canincoli and Andrea Sorrentino. Once again, if you've seen my other videos, I'm not really digging this storyline. It's done in two time periods. The first is basically when Joker's starting out, a young Gordon and a young Bruce, and then towards the end of Batman's career, I think, where he's coming to terms with his long fight with the Joker, and something happens. The Joker puts out a nerve agent based off of sonic sound that turns everybody into the Joker, or gives them the Joker. Well, it turns them into the Joker, basically. And I really liked that part of the story. The art is really, really good. It's very evocative. The pencils make Batman look like the Batfleck, and I think it really works with that part of the story. Very intriguing. I wished the whole story would have been about that. It wouldn't have been called Year One, but maybe if it was that, it would have intrigued me more. The stuff with the Year One Joker, there's something going on with a Red Hood gang, and the police talk about corruption. They shoot cops in front of each other, and nobody seems to care. It's ridiculous, in my opinion. I did not get into it. I wish the future story was the whole thing. The pencils in the Year One story were just okay for me. So if you like Batman, but I'm hard pressed to recommend half this book, and really want to recommend the other half. So I guess if you can get it later for cheaper, I'd definitely give it a try. All right, so the next book I have for you is Superman 11 from DC, obviously. Nice little Superman cover. This Mylar's killing me with the light, but I'm sorry, I think the Mylar makes them pop. All right, so this one is written by Joshua Williamson, and the pencils are by David Baldian. Baldian. It's a good story. Superman's still trying to help Lex because these two bad guys, Graft and Farm, are trying to ruin him. Lex's daughter gets in the middle, and Superman just keeps trying to to save Lex, get him out of harm's way. And that's basically most of the issue. There is a moment where Superman is exposed to red kryptonite, which makes him very angry. Superman smash. So, yeah, that was a little interesting. It's a quick read. Farm and Graft don't really interest me as villains. I mean, they're no Brainiac. You can't hit them out of the park all the time, but they're no Brainiac. They're no Lex Luthor. So they're no even Doomsday, as much as I'm okay, big scary guy that punches a lot. But it's an alright story. I don't really, so, Graft, Farm, it might have been better if it was different set of bad guys or whatever trying to get after Lex Luthor. But other than that, I will kind of be happy when this storyline's over. Can't really recommend this, only for the diehard Superman fans, which I kind of am. All right, so the next one I have for you guys is a #1 issue. It is Wolverine Madripoor Nights. And if you know anything about what I like to consider the Marvel Trinity here of Wolverine, Black Widow, and Captain America, this is actually a follow-up to an old Uncanny X-Men issue, number 268, where the three of these individuals do appear on that cover. It's written by none other than Chris Claremont. I think if you're an X-Men fan, you might have heard that name before. And the pencils are by Edgar Salazar. So I really like this issue. It was fun. There wasn't a lot. It was action-packed. Shortly after the events of the old Uncanny X-Men issue, Wolverine, Psylocke, Jubilee, and Black Widow, are all together. They're trying to blow off some steam, and it's just a lot of fun. They're attacked by supernatural hand ninjas, and it is basically just balls to the wall through most of the issue. Captain America shows up, kind of helps with the fight, and some women show up. The Bacchae, the Bacchus, the Greek god of wine and partying, his warrior women show up, and they need Psylocke to go on some mission, so she goes on a side quest with Jubilee, and Captain America wants the help of Wolverine and Black Widow to help basically get this arms deal, to take down some people with this arms deal, and that's basically the end of the issue. It was a lot of fun. Didn't like it as much as I hoped I would, but it is a lot of fun, and I can't wait to see the next issue and find out where this whole arms deal thing is going, if the Bacchae situation is linked into that in some way. So yeah, I like this issue and I can recommend it. All right, the next one I have for you, and will be no surprise to anyone who's seen one of my videos, is Titans #8. And this is Public Enemies. This is a direct kind of tie-in epilogue issue to the Titans Beast World mega event. Basically, the world now kind of sees the Titans as, are they friend, are they foe, because of the fallout of what they had to do to basically save the world from Gar. And people are not liking Gar all that much either. It starts with Raven, and I don't really want to spoil too much of that if you haven't seen my other videos, but Raven is talking to her father, Trigon, and hilarity ensues, we'll just say. Then the Florida is being under a huge advisory because there's a large hurricane heading to the coast, and the Keys are cut off, and so the Titans were going to go to help them out. And there's a little discussion among the Titans of maybe we should stay low, and Nightwing's like, no, that's not what we do. We're heroes. We help people. And I really liked Grayson's argument and how it was written and stuff. I thought that was really fun. So they go and they're all doing their thing. Grayson leading the team, telling them what to do. And Gar goes to try to save a boy and gets attacked by the father because, he doesn't want his son to be anywhere near Gar because of what Gar did and how many people died during the Beast World event. It was pretty emotional, pretty pivotal for Gar, and we don't really know how this is going to kind of play out as it continues, but it's interesting, and I want to see where it goes, especially with Gar, because he's becoming one of my favorites on the team. Him and, well, of course, Nightwing will always be my favorite on the team, but his and Raven's interactions I'm really enjoying, and those two characters are becoming two of my favorites on the team. And then we end with Raven speaking to her father again. Where's this going? So next issue is going to start the next story arc. Yeah. Anyway, on to the next issue. Let me flip my notes here. I've got 3 more left here. And the next issue I have is an independent by Dynamite. And it is Vampirella Dracula Rage. And once again, a very nice Vampirella cover as usual. So this one is written by Christopher Priest, who, if you saw my last video, also is writing Vampirella 666 and kind of this main title, I guess. And the pencils are by Christian Rosado, and I love this book. It is very, very good. I think the art is very evocative with what's going on, very evocative with the vampire aesthetic. A group of cultists killed Vampirella's child, and she's going, and her rage, hence the name of the series, her rage is succumbing and trying to overtake her as she takes out these individuals. There's a scene where she goes and finds, I think, the last or one of the last cultists on a subway, and she wants to confront him. And this is when Dracula, who has been basically trying to save her, meets up with her as the cultist has a bomb because he knows that Vampirella is after him, so he's going to kill himself to not be killed by Vampirella. I don't know about that part. But there's a huge explosion, and Dracula is able to get some of Vampirella's blood. But the reason he was after Vampirella was actually not to save her. He has his own agenda. What? Dracula has his own agenda? Really? Come on here. Yeah, he's not actually all the nice guy we were led to believe. Huh. So anyway, at the end of it, they go through, or Dracula goes through this gate to another world that Vampirella knows very well. I'm really excited to see where this goes. Sadly, the next issue is the last one, but hopefully this idea, this story will continue in some form, and I'm really digging Christopher Priest on this comic, and I love the art by Christian Rosado. All right, strong recommend. All right, the second to last one is my boy, Nightwing 111. I really love this cover. I love the whites, and actually it's kind of cool with the the white backer board. It's almost like it's framing it a little bit. But yeah, so this was a fun issue. It's written by Tom Taylor and the art is by Sam Basri. It's I don't know if it's a little different from last issue. The art, I'm kind of wondering if they're changing it up a little bit. I don't know if I like it as much. I think it's very good. I just don't know. There's something maybe off about it a little bit. Not exactly sure what's going on there. However, it was a good issue. Heartless, a enemy of Nightwing that was in Bloodhaven, appears to be now in Gotham. And it's a lot of Batman trying to get Nightwing to help him out, which obviously he's going to. Nightwing, he was hanging out with Barbara at her place, so I'm already in town, Bruce. What the heck? Let's have coffee. Let's chat a little bit. So they're trying to figure out why Heartless is in Gotham. And because of that, there was a killer thinking that they might be Heartless. Not exactly sure now because the death was different than Heartless's MO. Well, it was the same MO. Sorry, I'm really getting this one mixed up. It was the same MO, but it wasn't as clean. So they're thinking it might be a copycat. Well, there was a child that survived. This is actually the best part of the issue because as Grayson is kind of mentoring and helping this child because he lost his father, you kind of get this Bruce and Alfred talking about, and Dick when he was younger, talking about the parallels. And it's really cool. It's kind of like I don't know, where Bruce was to Dick. Dick is to this Eiko, I think is the child's name, the young boy's name. And I really, really liked it. It's really well written. I loved the parallels and the kind of the inner monologue of all of the characters in this. And I'm just really excited for a continuation. Now, I know that Tom Taylor has decided that there's going to be something big happening with Nightwing in the coming issues. I'm not exactly sure, but if you are not aware, Nightwing can't jump. White men can't jump. Anyway, Nightwing can't jump. For some reason, whenever he's at a precipice or high up, he's getting fear, like this gut-wrenching and paralyzing fear. And he doesn't know why that is. It's kind of a little funny scene where Batman's like, "You never told me that?" And so I'm very interested to see where that's going. Maybe kind of a deconstructing of Grayson's character. But other than that, this is a very fun issue, and I'd recommend picking it up, especially if you like the history of Bruce Wayne and Dick Grayson. All right, so the last one I have for you is John Constantine, Hellblazer, Dead in America. And look at that Swamp Thing cover. Isn't that awesome? So this is written by Simon Spurrier and the pencils are by Aaron Campbell, and these two do Constantine like he should be done. I really, really dig. They did a previous series, and I've read most of that now, and I'm really digging that, and they are doing a great job with this. If you didn't see my last video with the Hellblazer book, Constantine is dead and in America. Hence the name. Sorry, I'm open that there. Hence the name. And he's trying to figure out how to alleviate his condition. He has a little potted plant that is the remnants of Swamp Thing and a couple minions. Don't call us minions! So he goes and he finds this woman who is revealed to be some ancient oracle trying to help him out. She gives him some funny stuff, and he has a vision quest where Sandman of the Endless shows up. Well, it's all a ploy. He doesn't really get what he wants. Constantine. This woman is not exactly helpful. However, really cool scene at the end where Swamp Thing is basically have decided this. Actually, I must say that this is kind of interesting because Swamp Thing appears to not want to be the Swamp Thing. That's why he was kind of a little plant or whatever. He's kind of not like retired or something. And then the woman says some choice words to the plant creature, and he gets very large. He reconstitutes himself. He is taking on aspects of this plant. However, there's an idea of the green, which the Swamp Thing protects, is rotting. The future is rotting, and yeah, it's a very interesting read. I think honestly, and this is going to be my recommend, I think honestly you need to read this one to kind of understand exactly what's going on. I'm sorry I'm not describing this one very well. However, I do recommend it, and I really recommend the creative team. I might try to see if they have other, not only collaborations, but things they do on their own. I love the art in this. Very, very, not rustic, but rough, almost kind of brutal. Constantine is what he is. He doesn't give any F's, and he tells it like it is. A very good series, and if you like Constantine at all, like the dark side of DC Universe or supernatural comics in general, strong recommend. All right, so that is the last book I have for you this week. And is there any that you enjoyed? Have you picked up any of these issues? I mean, if you get comics, what's your favorite? Please leave that in the comments. And if you have picked up any of these issues, which one did you like the most? So with that being said, this is my polls for this week. So if you like this, please subscribe, hit the notification bell so you know when I drop one next week, and leave a comment, because most of the reason I'm doing this is to talk to you. So just remember, there's like an armchair here and I keep anyway, not that you care about that. So lastly, remember what your mom always said. If you got to be a dick, be a Grayson. Thanks, everybody. Keep reading.